This is Pranav, Senior Product Manager from the team Wembu. So mostly to the US region that I'm looking into. Now, I'm going to talk more about this BDRSuite webinar today. I see a lot of new attendees because everyone knows that Team Wembu conducts webinars on regular intervals. So this webinar has been organized for the month of April. So to talk more about the latest release that we had. So the latest release this time had a theme related to data protection, specifically towards the ransomware protection and detailing. And this webinar, we are going to talk more about how this BDRSuite was able to break through it in this version 7.0.1 and what we have for the version 7.1.0, which is a major release that we are planning to be released in a couple of months from now. Like most probably in another month or so, we'll be having, fingers crossed, we believe to have our 7.1.0 also to be released. But okay, without much further ado, I do see a lot of new attendees have joined in this session. So a small introduction to them about the BDRSuite, where even the people who is already well known about the BDRSuite can take a time to read through it. Okay, so people, BDRSuite, it's a product or a software which is being provided by Wembu. Now, we have this software to be trusted as #1 cost-effective backup software for small, medium businesses and most of the MSPs in the market out there. So our motto is to back up any workloads and store it on any targets and manage your workloads at any time centrally through a central portal. So that is what we call this as centralized management, which BDRSuite mainly focuses on. So all the products that you're trying to take a backup or all the workloads that you're trying to take a backup can be seen through one single window. So you back up the data and restore the data from the same window. So more about the BDRSuite. Now, we have been in this data protection market for more than 2 decades, and we have our footsteps in 100 plus countries with 4,000 plus partners who are active and been listing the product in their respective regions. In such a case, BDRSuite was also awarded as one of the highly rated customers and experts' choice of usage for the year 2024, and based on the seasons like winter, the summer, and the fall season as well. So it is, it is a continuously people started to believe in us and they started using a product. Now, the trusted global brands are over here, which is being shown up here. This is just some of the details, but we have a lot more to be shown in our website. So if people wanted to read more about the reviews, you want to have a look into the customer reviews or experts reviews, please do visit our website, BDRSuite.com. That would guide you throughout the process. Now, when I say backup any workload, I really mean it with saying that you can take a backup of your virtual, your physical servers, your endpoints or workstations, your file share, your applications, your SaaS applications, your cloud workloads, and your databases. So what does this mean? About literally most of the people who have already used BDRSuite must be well about this. But still, just a minute. I just wanted to give you an overall scope of what these are. So when I say backup any workloads, if I point towards virtual environment, we have the VMware and Hyper-V backup and replication support provided by the BDRSuite. So you can back up your virtual machines of VMware or Hyper-V on an agentless solution basis. And for KVM, it is more, one or two among the backup solutions provided in the market. You have this KVM support, and we are one among them. like you have the backup for all your KVM virtual machines and an agentless solutions that we provide. So we also have fingers crossed for something of overit and proxmox as well. So you will have these support will also be coming up in the next couple of the next version that we are planning to release in a couple of weeks or by the end of the next month. Now, that is for your virtual environment. So in virtual, we covered most of the detail. Now you have the physical servers here. So with the physical servers, I would say you can support taking a file and folder level backup and a disk image level backup. Mainly for Windows, we support Windows disk image level backup, where you will be able to take a complete backup of the disk of all the disk present in those machines, and later you can even convert them as a virtual machine. So that is a probability that we provide with the Windows Server backup, both at a file and folder level as well as on disk image level. Whereas for Linux servers, we provide people taking a file of folder level backups. Well, that is for your physical servers of Linux. Then you have the endpoints. Obviously, for Windows, Linux, and Mac, you will have the file folder support. And if it is Windows, we specifically have the image level support. Then you have the file share, that is either your NAS or any of your file servers. You can back them up at a file or folder level. Any files or folders that you can back it up. Next, you have the SaaS applications. So you would be knowing, like we were one of the top competitors in the market who started to initially support the backup for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. In such a case, with our product, you would be able to take a backup of your user mailbox, which includes the contacts, calendars, mails, OneDrive in case of Microsoft 365, Google Drive in case of Google Workspace, and you will also be taking a backup of your Teams and SharePoint Online. So, and I have an update for you for the Teams, which is obviously it'll be shown in this slide, which is coming up in the next. But that's also an added advantage we'll be having in the next release. Then we have the cloud workloads backup. All your computing cloud workloads of AWS and Azure can be taken a backup. Not only you take a backup and store that as a snap in your cloud, you can store the data in your own storage. Either it could be your on-prem storage or your cloud storage, and you get a chance to restore the data and run it up as a virtual machine locally. So more like a virtual to a physical conversion, or maybe like a cloud virtual to another virtual environment conversion. So V2V platform migration is possible with this solution of BDRSuite. Now, I'm just putting all these applications and database together. So the Microsoft Exchange backup and SharePoint backup can be configured directly from our BDRSuite, and you also have the database level backup for your Microsoft SQL, the Postgres SQL, and MySQL configured from the BDRSuite web console itself. So this is why we said since most of your workloads has been supported, and we are yet to support a lot more, I just said you can back up any workloads using this BDRSuite. Now, when I take a backup, where would I store my data? So there are three options. Either I can store it in my local storage. That could be either my directly attached storage, my network drives such as NAS or SAN, or in a tape archive. Now I also have an option like BDR Cloud, where BDR Cloud is a product that has been powered by BDRSuite, obviously. So you get to store your data in BDR Cloud on S3, as well as BDR Cloud on Wasabi as well. One of the S3 compatible storage as well. Then your public cloud, which we support, Amazon S3 or Azure Blob or Google Cloud or any of your S3 compatible storages such as Wasabi, Blackplace, Minio, etc. So all these are things that we support for your S3 compatible storages, which you can directly store your data to store your backup data and then restore your data. Or you can even have a copy of your backup data to be sent to either of the storages. Now, so people, now since we are talking about centralized management, I'm just putting my focus towards what do our portfolio holds for you. So we have one called as BDR Cloud and another one is BDRSuite. BDR Cloud is a service offered by BDRSuite, and BDRSuite is a software by itself. So when I say BDR Cloud, we host the backup server for you and you get to store your data in our own storage. For now, you will be storing your data in BDR Cloud within our cloud, which is hosted in AWS. But later, I do have an update for that, which is, towards the end of the session, I'll just show you that detail as well. For BDRSuite, which is a software which is centralizedly able to manage your data. So whatever I've just said is about the BDRSuite, like backup any workload, store it anywhere, and then you restore your data at any time, anywhere. So that is all possible with this BDRSuite. A BDRSuite is a flexible enough software which can be deployed on a virtual, physical, or even in a cloud instance. So that's the advantage of BDRSuite software. Now, said and so, I've just mentioned about the BDRSuite, the BDR Cloud, and what a general introduction about your Wambu's product portfolio, what we do. So this is mostly for the new attendees who have just joined in the session to explain them what BDRSuite is all about. Now, to everyone on the floor, we are going to talk about the version 7.0.1. BDRSuite has a quarterly release of new features coming up. Each and every month we have an enhancement or some feature based on customers' feedback. We incorporate the features. Otherwise, we have a release scheduled for every quarters of a year. So in such a case, version 7.0.1 is one of the predecessor for the 7.1.0 release. So this 7.0.1, as I said, is mainly towards data security. So in such case, we brought in the feature for Immutable Object Storage and Linux Hardened Repository in version 7.0.1. So this is the major release that mainly focused on data security by providing you the privilege to have your data on immutable storage. This immutable storage, as far as BDRSuite is concerned, that is the Windows build of BDRSuite is concerned, you get to store your data in object storage of Amazon S3 or S3 compatible that has an immutable ratio versioning within it. So in that case, this immutable helps you to secure your data. So when people could ask me what this immutable would be, immutable storage is basically like once you write the data, there's only once, and you don't have an option to overwrite over the data. So when you freeze the data, more like an archival, you just freeze the data, so no overwrite could be done. So this could secure your data from any of the outside attacks. So you have a basic data which is secured throughout, and you can decide on how many days you want to keep that to be on your immutable storage. So that is for Immutable Object Storage with the BDRSuite Windows version. And for the Linux version of BDRSuite, we have the Linux Hardened Repository that could either be your on-prem storage or immutable storage, which has the Linux repository, which can be hardened. So when it is hardened, it's similar to what I exactly explained in immutable storage. You have that data freezed. You won't be having any feature or any option to write over the data or have a merge of the data. It doesn't happen. That would be freezed. Then you have full VM recovery for KVM. That KVM was some new feature which was introduced before the 7.0.1. I believe it came up in 7.0.0 version. We brought in KVM. So now the full VM recovery for KVM is also an option that we provided within this 7.0.1 update. And for the KVM, Azure and AWS, you have the file of file level recovery option. So that is one of the major update, because we can leave about KVM, but we can just concentrate on Azure and AWS. You take a cloud instance, a cloud workloads, or you have taken a backup, you store it in a data which is you store it in a storage which is locally attached, and you get the privilege to restore only certain files or folders instead of restoring the complete compute image. So that is the advantage that we have for lab. So though it is a cloud compute, we take a backup, break it down in the form of chunks, we store it in our own patented file system. That helps us to fetch you the details at a file or folder level. And it also helps you to restore that cloud VMs to a virtual environment. Either it could be a VMware or a Hyper-V, depends. Now, this is something that I've explained to you in version 7.0.1. So this is what we have, and this is what we'll be seeing it as a demo in our upcoming demo slide, live demo version that I'm going to show you. Now, the next to it, I have 7.1.0. What is a major feature that is going to come up in 7.1.0? Now I'm going to pause my detailing here, and I'm going to share the details of features that came up in 7.0.1 with a live demo. After the live demo, maybe like I can come up to version 7.1.0 what we have. Okay, I believe people can see my screen of product. So this is the web console, the BDRSuite. I've just installed this BDRSuite in a machine which is a couple of miles away from me, and I'm just put the IP address of the machine. I do have connected through a VPN, so I'm just putting the IP address with the 6060 port number. I'm able to access the server console. So it is always recommended, if you're going with the BDRSuite, please do go with the Windows Server. Yeah. Now I'm just logging in with the default username and password, which is admin and admin. Now people, if you would like to try out the BDRSuite, we have the 30 days of free trial. The latest version 7.0.1 is already available in our website. You can download it. If you want to try out, please do let us know. We do have our lead experts to explain you how the features work, if in a one-on-one demo or in one-on-one session. Okay, since this webinar I can't cover up with the whole detail, but I'm just giving you where you can find the scopes of the new features that which we brought in. Okay, so in this case, the first thing, as I told you, I'll just write back through my slide. So the Immutable Object Storage in BDRSuite, so that is available. This is a Windows version of my BDRSuite. You can check that up over here in the About Us section. This is a Windows OS type. So I'm just showing you where the object storage would be. So this is a storage option that we have, both block storage and object storage. Block is all your local storages, such as directly attached storage, NAS or SAN, whatever it is, you can add it under a block storage. Object storage is completely your cloud storage. So in this cloud storage, when I create an object storage repository, I get to see an option called immutable backups. So if immutable backups is being enabled, then I can set how many ever days that I need. So this immutability feature is available in AWS S3 and S3, any of your S3 compatible devices. So I've already created one with that. So this is the immutable storage of my Amazon S3 account. So here I have enabled the immutability, which I can range up to 999 days as of now. So that would be approximately around 3 years or something, or 2.5 years or more. So you can version your data up to 999 days as of now with the versioning immutability option that we have. This, when I add it to be an immutable, when I enable it to be an immutable option, when I'm configuring a backup, I can see that detail. So when I go, just give some detail, put it on object storage, I'll have this immutability repo. Here I can decide how many days I can keep this backup data in the storage repository. Okay, so this is what my BDRSuite while configuring a backup with immutable version option is something that we have it as of now. The next, the Linux hardened storage. If the Windows, you have downloaded the Linux version of BDRSuite, then you can even support the Linux hardened storage for your block storage over here. Okay, even the Linux hardened storage that you are attaching could be used through the block storage over here. Or if you have a Linux hardened storage, you can add it up as a NAS drive or a network drive to this backup repository under the block storage, and you can start using it. That is also a possibility to use it. Okay, so that is one set. And another set is a lot of UI changes that we brought in. Initially, we had all this offsite DR and all the stuffs over here. Now we have brought this offsite DR outside the session. And another one is tape archive. In the tape archive, which I forgot to mention previously, in tape archive, now initially we were supporting only from LTO generation 3 and above, and it was initially only the standalone tape libraries. Now we will be able to support the standalone as well as the automated tape libraries as of now. So that's a new feature again, which has been incorporated into the BDRSuite. And another one which I'm so eager to show you people. Now you go to data sources section under the data center private cloud and endpoints. You just go to servers and endpoints. Here you get a portable dashboard explaining you with the details, and this gives you the filtration option as well, where you can filter your agents based on the name, the IP address, the version, the build number, or the email ID. So either of these choices, you can search your endpoints or servers through this option. And when I wish to add my endpoints or servers, just either I can go with a manual method of downloading the agent manually and installing it on the source machine, or I can even try the bulk agent installation. So we have the steps for that also to be available. So when I do a bulk agent installation, you will get an MSI which you have to push it through a group policy. If you have an AD or LDAP, you can integrate it with the BDRSuite and then push it through a group policy from the AD or LDAP. But for now, you can use it as a AD or LDAP server, or you can use any third-party group policy push agents to push your MSI to the source host. If all your machines fall under the same network, then you can push the agent automatically. That is also possible, and this is possible only if it is a Windows server. You will be able to push a server operating system. You can push the agents automatically. If it is an endpoint or a Windows workstation, it is recommended to download the agent and install the agent manually on your source machine. Okay. So you get to see, so these are the agents that I've installed on my machine. You have their IP address. This is their host name, which can be editable, and I can see which machine is being configured. I mean, under which backup job it has been configured, and if I want to restore, I can restore the data perfectly from here. That is possible, and the agent version is also possible. So if it is in disconnected state, the agent is not connected to the backup server yet, but here you see it is active. So if it is active, the agent is connected to the backup server and the data has been processing well. So this is what the difference is. The production status, the agent status, and the last connected time is all possible. If you want to add your email IDs, you can add your email IDs as well. So generally, you have this option where you can add your email ID. So if you add your email ID, for example, that particular email ID will be bind it up with that machine. So whenever the machine enters into a state of success or failure, or whatever the report that comes up for the machine, backup status report or the recovery status report, it will be triggered directly to this email ID which is being mentioned here. Okay, for this you obviously have to enable your email notifications with SMTP settings, and you have to ensure that email notification for endpoints is also enabled. Like only when you enable this, your detail will be sent to those emails that you have enclosed with your agent or bind it up with your agent. So this is what your BDRSuite is all about for the endpoints and servers, because we just made it a dashboard that gives you a complete set of what is being done. So you have here you could see like 5 protected enable, so only 5 machines has been taken a backup, so you can see these machines. What the other thing is which is not enabled is I have added the agent, I've installed the agent, but it is not configured backup. So those are the details here. So which one is active? That is the agent status is active, is over here, and the other agents which are disconnected is being listed here. So how many are Windows? You can even see the Windows workstations, your Linux machines and Mac machines configuration directly from this dashboard which is shown above. So the agents that are up to date, the agents which are outdated can also be seen here. Okay, so this is what your BDRSuite is all about for your servers and endpoints. This is one of the new feature that we brought in. And another one which I wanted to tell you regarding is your cloud workloads. So as I mentioned previously, your cloud workloads, you can configure backup for your cloud instances and get to store your data locally. For example, let me show you how to add. So once I add up all these details, I decide where to store my data. So while configuring the backup, I can only have the EBS snapshot. So this will be when you choose this option, you will have the option to store your data in the EC2 instance itself. That is your EC2 instance within that region itself, EBS snapshot. The other one is a copy of this EBS snapshot can be stored locally. That I can decide either it could be a block storage or object storage. So this by means I can decide where I can store my data locally. So whichever I've taken a backup. So once I've taken a backup of the data, I can literally restore them whenever I wish to. So when I click to restore, so here I get to see the instance level recovery, the volume level recovery, and the download disk option, as well as the recovery from the backup repository, and your local backup repository is also possible with this solution that we have. Okay, and we also have file or folder level recovery for the same. As you could see, you can even restore for whatever the cloud instance that you've taken a backup, you can even restore it at a file or folder level. So whatever the backup that you hold will list out the details in file or folder. Again, you can check that file or folder level restorations option over here. Okay, so here are the details. You can just reset and choose where to store my data. So as of now, I have the option to restore it to this server. Soon I'll also have this source of VM restore, that is restoring to the instance itself. That would be coming up in the next release. This is the option that I mentioned in my slide previously about the FLR for Azure and AWS VMs. And you also have the same FLR option, that is your file level recovery option for your KVM machines as well. So for all your KVM level of backups that you configured, when I just go to recover to restore the data, I've just taken a file folder level backup. I've taken an image level backup of a complete VM of KVM. Now I can perform a file level recovery of the same. So this is what we mentioned previously in this slide. So people, this session has the values related to the data security with the immutable storage and some of the features that we brought in for easy management, where I can select and restore the data and I can get to know what things are active, what are inactive, the granular recovery option that I have. And apart from these, I also have the offsite data where I can have a copy of my data in offsite data. And one more thing, the 3-2-1 backup policy that we follow, that is one of the added advantage as well. You have the protected entities here. So even in the protected entities, it will list you what all the backup jobs has been configured, and you can restore only particular that entity with the IP or DNS name that is being shown here. And you also have some intuitive reports. So you will have the machine or a host level VM detailing report like a dashboard, which you can set it up for last 7 days or last 30 days to view through. That is an option. You can download it or mail it. Or you also have the ConnectWise ticketing, which is already been integrated. Now you also have the other one, backup job level overview. So individual backup job level overview is also a dashboard that you get. Okay. Now, if you want to read more about the success detail, the failure detail, all that you can read through in this second report, backup jobs machine or host level review. So how many machines have been success, you will get it in this section. The failed machines, reasons, the reason and its detail of failure would be recorded in this session. If there is any warnings or unprocessed machines, even that would be recorded here. Okay, so this is what the BDRSuite will be holding up for you in this version 7.0.1. And there are multiple tweaks that we made, like adjusting of this some basic UI tweaks, as well as some of the bug fixes initially which they had in Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, along with the backups for the core backups for virtual environment and the physical environment is being fixed in this release of version 7.0.1. So this is up with 7.0.1. And people, once again, I wish to explain you, if you really want to know more about the features of version 7.0.1, please do reach out to us for a one-on-one demo. Our team is always available for you to provide you with a one-on-one demo, or if you want a POC session or a deployment assistance, please do let us know. We'll be there to guide you through. Okay. Now, yes. So since I covered with this all detail, I'm just moving on to the roadmap of version 7.1.0. So as per the agenda, first I break through the concepts of 7.0.1. Now I'm moving on to 7.1.0, the release that we have in our hand as of now. So as I told you, so by the end of next month or the start of the next of it, you will have this 7.1.0 to be released. So everyone would be getting the feature details again on it. So also we'll be sending email notifications about the features in depth, explaining what you can expect about the particular feature in 7.0.1 individually. Okay. Now that is a set here. I have a set for BDRSuite as well as for BDR Cloud. Now we'll talk about the features. These are main features. I do have some of the enhancements. I have some bug fixes, stability-wise fixes. All that is separately driven. Now I'm just only talking about the main expected features in BDRSuite. That is what we are discussing now, and we were also discussing only the main things in the version 7.0.1 also. The demo which I showed you is also the basic details that I revealed. Okay, so in this 7.1.0, major update is you will be having remote backups for your VMware and Hyper-V virtual machines. That is one of the major update, people, I wanted to give you. So initially we had this Windows, the backup for endpoints and servers alone with a remote. By installing an agent, you can take a backup and send it remotely over the WAN. Now for BDRSuite, even if there is a VMware or a Hyper-V which is in your client's environment, you can just install the agent at your client's location, and you can take a backup by configuring the backup directly from the backup server that is installed at your end or either in your remote location. Okay, so all that will be taken care. Now the remote backups for VMs, that is specifically, this is an agentless backup solution though, for VMware and Hyper-V is being provided in the next version release of 7.1.0. Then we already had bare metal restore, but now we have simplified this bare metal restore option in quite a couple of steps itself. Okay, in a couple of 2 or 3 steps, you will be able to completely perform a bare metal restore to a similar hardware machine. We are also finding out the opportunities to support it for dissimilar hardwares. That will be later, like after this 7.1.0, you'll have that feature as well coming up. But I'm not sure exactly in which release you'll have that dissimilar hardware support for bare metal, but you'll have this bare metal restore simplified directly in a console, BDRSuite console itself. Next, you have the Teams backup. In Microsoft 365, we already have the Azure, this basically your Teams backup, which involves the basic files and folders. Now, even the chat and conversations has been involved in this Teams backup for the Microsoft 365. Next, as I mentioned previously, the backup support for Overit and Proxmox VMs is also being included in this BDRSuite release, which is for version 7.1.0. All the beta builds has been ready. Now we are only concentrating on the GA build. Once the GA build is available, we'll make sure that is being communicated to you properly. And we have something in BDR Cloud. A major release is focused this time for the BDR Cloud. Now, as I told you, the BDR Cloud again has the remote backup support for VMware and Hyper-V. Initially, the cloud users, BDR Cloud users, would not be having to had an opportunity to take a backup of their virtual environment. Now, through this remote backup option, you get the feasibility to back up your virtual machines of VMware on Hyper-V from your cloud server of BDRSuite. So you don't have to install any server at your end. It is just your sign up to the BDR Cloud account. Once you sign up for the BDR Cloud account, you will get the console where you will be using our own cloud server for your purpose. Okay. Next, and you can choose where you want to store the data to. So that is relatively on top, as you could see. You can store directly to either S3 or any of your S3 compatible storage. Initially, you were able to store it only in BDR Cloud. So that cloud had its option limited only to the AWS S3 because we were having it in AWS S3 alone. Now, if it is your own S3 account, you can add it. If it is your own S3 compatible storage like Wasabi or MinIO, you can even use that for your BDR Cloud. Now you have the branding option that's specifically for MSPs. So we have brought in some branding options where you can see the logos. You can add your logos in your email notifications, even in your console to be shown. That can be done. And you'll have the multi-tenancy option in BDR Cloud. Initially, the multi-tenancy was available only for BDRSuite to group your customers based on the entities or entities that they're trying to take a backup, or group on by their nature of the firm. Now you can group even your customers from your BDR Cloud using this multi-tenancy option that we have. Now again, as said, the parameter restore from BDR Cloud has also been fixed. Now these details, as far as the cloud is concerned, we are planning either to release it in a couple of weeks from now, so it could be in either 7.0.2 for cloud, or it can even come up in 7.1.0, but it is obviously not in the present version, but something in an upcoming version that you'll have for BDR Cloud. So all these are BDR Cloud details, and what I've said here is all are about the BDRSuite detailing. Okay, so this is the roadmap that we have. So basically, as you could see, BDRSuite is completely moving towards a centralized management where you'll have the main backup server. Either it could be your on-prem server or even your BDR Cloud that you have signed in for, BDR Cloud server. So this backup server can help you to manage all your data from one single window. So either you backup, you restore, all things are manageable from one single window with multiple workloads option that we are bringing in. So this is a major update, and also you'll be having a complete a different set of UI when you go with a version 7.1.0, and a lot of new changes in the functionalities are also being brought up. So which improves the stability, which improves the backup process, the speed of the backup process. Everything would be ensured to be of a higher standards. Okay, so please stay tuned with our community of BDRSuite, both in our social media as well as in our through our website, so you get an update on all these releases, the product features, through an email when required. Okay, and so people, like, I would thank you people for joining in this session again. So we come to the end of the session, and again, I hope you guys could see my screen. So if you wanted to have a detail about the BDRSuite, please visit our website. You get an update on regular basis, and if you want to download the software, you can just click on download BDRSuite. You have the 3 installers. One is a Windows installer, the next is a Linux, and next is a Docker deployment. So we also have the Docker deployment, where if you have a NAS drive of yours which is having its own containerization option, then you can have a Docker build to be installed over there and store it. So you have the Docker deployment as well for it. So and one more thing, if you request for a demo, one-on-one demo, just click on a request demo option, fill up the details, you can start using the product. Okay, in the meanwhile, once you download the build, obviously you will be entering in your new details. So if you want our assistance, you can reach out to us. So this is only for the new users who are going to download the BDRSuite and see. The existing users or existing partners, please do contact your account manager, your respective account manager, because now the channel team has been enlarged. You have account managers for each and every region. Okay, so the account manager is assisted by a product manager, so they both look care of your request immediately. Either the support request or sales request, anything can be immediately helped out. So please do check out with your account manager respectively. Okay, so people, thank you so much. So this is all about the BDRSuite, and once again, to people, if you wanted to know more about the sales or the pricing detail, just visit our wembu-sales@wembu.com, send up your details, and people will send you the code. Okay, your requirement details, once you send through an email, the people will send you the code. And if it is support that you want to reach out directly in case of any evaluation concerns that you have, please reach out to our support, and our support team will be there to help you out. So yes, so I believe I've just explained you with most of the details. Now I also see there are a lot of questions that has been popped up. So if you have any questions to be asked, please do ask it. We are there to help you out. So I see a lot of questions are being asked, and you have a question box nearby. And with me, I do have Mr. Mani, who is also a regional product manager for the US region. So he is answering most of your queries online. And if at all you have any queries apart from this, please, as I said, you can raise it up to wembu-support@wembu.com, or anything further, you can reach out to our support team. Okay, and even the contact numbers are here. So we'll just give a couple of minutes for you guys to post your questions, and please don't worry if your questions are not answered in this session. We'll make sure you get an email with the answers. Okay, so once you get an email, you can use that app, and this session recording will be available in our website at in another 48 hours. So you can find our previous recorded webinar in our website, like the BDRSuite, under the product webinar section, resources, product webinar session. So here you can find the recorded webinars, the previous recorded webinars for your usage. Okay. Now, so we'll have some time for fellow men to post your questions. You have the QA box, you can post it there and we'll answer it. Okay, thank you everyone for joining into this session. So I believe Mani has answered some of the questions, and people, we also have a YouTube channel because there was a question relatively to it. So I would like to show you those details. You can just go to YouTube. That's why I said you can follow us on all the search on Wembu Technologies. You have the playlist, and here you have the BDRSuite version 7.0. Okay, the 7.0 product demo. So you can just see the full playlist. We have how the bare metal can be performed with the latest version, and all those details are available here. This is your present version 7.0.1, your step-by-step guidance for your backup, your restore, and all those purposes. So just have a visit of it, and please ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we would be loading all new features, new product, and new opportunities, how this can be done, step-by-step guidance or something related to technical concepts, data protection. So you can just store our YouTube, or you can just follow our YouTube channel. It gives you a feed update, and you can also make sure that you follow our Facebook, or we have a Reddit community. You can follow our Reddit community, or you can even follow our LinkedIn and Insta pages. Okay, so thank you so much once again for everyone joining in this session. It was a pleasure having you all in this session. Stay tuned for the further updates from the BDRSuite, and let's have a fingers crossed for the version 7.1.0 to be coming out. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.